So I went down there with some sort of a plan of buying things that I could trigger explosions with. These are small, controllable explosions, not just random fireworks. But I needed to amplify this particular explosion that was electrically triggered with a fireball. I need to amplify with a fireball coming out of a window. So I thought, well, what can I do? What can I put next to this, what's called a flash pot, to ignite?
Can I guess?
You can guess, yes.
Was it custard powder?
It was not custard powder, but that's a really good suggestion.
Thank you.
Because fine powders are highly explosive.
Yeah,
No,
well,
I decided to take a slightly different route, which was perhaps less wise, which was a plastic bag full of petrol.
Oh, shit. That's my one swear word for the week.
Not my worst offence. But anyway, so cut to scene whereby people walking past window, and said window then explodes with a ball of fire. And it's we're filming, I think, in the early evening.
Is this how Leslie Ash died?
No.
No, okay. I don't think she's dead, actually. No, carry on.
bit random. So that was me doing practical effects on a short film. That wasn't the only. There's lots of stories from that particular shoot.
This sounds very strange to me. You go to work on a professional film set, and they say, Alex, you're the youngest, you're in charge of the explosions, and without any training at all,
was enthusiastic.
You go down to a Mr. Ben type shop in Brighton, say, I'm here as the
explosives. They were a professional.
Please sell me some petrol.
Okay, no. Right, so the explosives and that shop were professional stage.
Yeah. Explosives. You decided to embellish this by buying your own petrol.
Yes, I just went to a petrol station with a can of petrol and then filled up a black, don't do this at home, kids, a black bag, hung it on the window, put the stage power underneath, and then I was in the room, and the crew and the camera guy and the rest of the team were outside, and I was in the room about 2 meters away from the explosive. And I'd already let one of these explosives off. So I knew that, flash pots, they're safe. It's basically a little plastic pot with a tiny little charge in it. That bit's safe, perfectly safe. The bit that wasn't safe was, the two bits that weren't safe was the bit that I added and me. So
is that when you went deaf in that ear?
What? It's a dizzying combination. That's not the stupidest thing I've done with explosives.
I hesitate to ask. Did you get the custard powder reference? Do you know where that comes from?
Well, I know that, as it happens, at the time, I was friendly with a guy who was a baker, and he had a fire in his bakery, and it was a flour fire.
Well, it tends to be explosions, not fires, because
it gets airborne and it goes.
There was a very famous case of a custard factory, which doesn't sound like a real thing. Sounds like a Roald Dahl made-up thing, doesn't it? That there's actually a custard factory. But I suppose if you can buy custard in tins, then there has to be a factory making it. So there was a custard factory, and I don't know where it was, but they were making the powder, and
which is corn flour.
I suppose it is largely just corn flour, maybe with some flour extract and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's 95% corn flour.
The story goes that the powder's everywhere, and it had settled on the equipment largely. And something had happened to disturb the flour, which 99 times out of 100 will be fine. But it's when the powder enters the air and becomes a certain concentration that I think a spark or an ignition source lights the first one, which then creates an effect which spreads throughout them all. And of course, it happens so quickly that the net effect is an explosion.
Yeah,
and I think it was quite a bad disaster. The famous custard powder factory explosion.
No laughing matter.
Well,
which is why gas is quite safe. If it's really highly concentrated, you can't actually ignite it.
Well,
you drop it to about 5%, and it's very, very dangerous. If talking about domestic, gas out of the pipe.
You were unlucky because petrol actually is hard to light when it's in. I remember being a kid and trying to light puddles of petrol. And it's not easy to do.
You were frowning at me, and you were
no. If you
just
just puddles of petrol on the ground. Well, I wouldn't go
as you do.
I was lighting matches and flicking them in.
Okay,
and it doesn't work because it's not the petrol that sets light; it's the vapor that comes from the petrol, and the match going in there will go in so
And-
quickly that actually the
Okay.
petrol, the petrol will extinguish the flame because of the temperature. So yeah, there you go. Don't play with matches, kids.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've done all the experiments. You don't need to do it.